What's up, guys? It's Zachy J, and today we're going to be talking about perhaps one of my most important videos that I'll ever make. Because in this video, we're going to give you all the tools that you need to permanently heal trauma, pain, and put down the burden forever. No more will you have to waste time in talk therapy that's only 15% effective. No more will you have to do the spiritual and healing tourism where you go around to different ceremonies and rituals and pay people all this money and give them all this time to feel like you're doing something to heal yourself. No, you will have a permanent solution, and all you have to do is listen for a few minutes and try a little bit of it out, okay? You got to put a little bit of effort, okay? It's basically a silver bullet, but you still got to fire the gun, okay? You got to pull the trigger on this stuff. So, what is the method? What could it be, okay? Well, let me tell you first, you have the raw materials. You do not need to search any longer for any other material that's out there. You already have them, okay? And the raw material is the content that you're trying to address, the emotional content that you're trying to address, the burdens that you're trying to put down, the traumas. You have that. You probably have a memory that's jumping out at you now, being like, guess what? I still got thorns. That memory still got a little thorny, right? And then you have the other raw material. And that other raw material is love, okay? It is unconditional love. And this, with those two things, no more. You don't need any other things. With those two things, if you have them, if you have found an ounce of love in your life, a second of love, if you've experienced 1 millisecond of love in your life, you have the raw materials to do this. And I know you've experienced a millisecond of it, because I know anyone here that's had like a delicious sweet treat on that has experienced a little bit of bliss and joy, has had a friend that gave them a hug, has had a lover that looked into your eyes and expressed how much you mean to them. You have felt this. If you looked at yourself and you felt proud of something that you've ever done, you have felt this. And you need to grab a hold of it, because we're going to use some of that. What you're going to do, okay, is back into your memory vault. You go. You're going to bump into that thorny memory, that thing that's antagonistic, the thing that's still causing you grief, pain, and misery. Instead of looking at it and trying to ignore it, which is most of the defense mechanisms that we as adults and children have had to use, because that's what we knew, right? We're just like, okay, we'll just keep going in hopes that it goes away, right? If I keep working, if I keep moving, then it can't catch up to me. But guess what? It kind of does, right? And you know that because sometimes after everything is said and done, when your mind's taking a little wander, a little gander around its own memory vault, and it bumps into things, and the way you remember it is also the way you feel it. So what we're doing is we're rewriting the story. We're going back into the memory, and we're flooding it, absolutely flooding it and flushing it out with unconditional love. And if you do this, your story will be yours again. It will be permanently yours, and you will never have to worry about, man, every time I think about that thing, I have to force myself to ignore it in order to not have this resentful attitude towards it. No, every time you bump into it, that memory, ever again, even in real time, even in real life, your heart will be open and ready to write new chapters in the story, not to call back to the old times when we might not have known better. And it's this simple. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not hard, okay? It's simple because that's all you have to do, but it's hard because you know what's one of the hardest things to do is look at somebody that has ever wronged you in life and be like, you know what? I love you. I have love for you. I want you to succeed. I want you to win. Yeah, that's difficult. And I'll give you a story, because this wasn't like an easy thing for me. It's not like this came secondhand. It wasn't natural. This happened over a course of figuring out what to do and reading countless books and trying to put together different pieces to figure out how to finally just have no issue with this stuff. I didn't want to have issues with these people and my own memories and my own insecurity. I don't want to have issues with these things. Yet I was having issues with these things. So here's an example. When I was younger, I was in the startup world, you know, working for business, right? But working in startups is brutal. Anyone that's ever touched the business world knows exactly what I'm talking about. It is not fun, right? Sometimes you sacrifice your health bar. And especially when you're young, you don't know what you don't know. So everyone's making mistakes. And I was working with these people and to put it nicely, got royally screwed in a business deal, right? Royally screwed in a time of my life when that money mattered. When I know even if it's not a lot of money, people, if I told you the amount, you'd be like, who cares, right? But for me, that money was a lifeline. That money was freedom. That money was the next few steps. That money was the next year, you know? And boom, vanished overnight, right? And not because of anything I didn't do, but because of greed and, you know, and because of how humans can treat other humans. And that haunted me for such a long time. Every time I thought back upon it, I got super bitter. And then after some time had passed, and they say time heals all wounds, which is true. It gives you enough time and space between them so you can have a different reaction. But that reaction doesn't mean it's resolved. That reaction could just be like, well, it's indifference because maybe there's nothing you could do about it anymore. So you just move on and you keep moving on, but you never really effectively treated the wound, right? So the wound has now created a scar, and that scar is now lingering in the way you carry yourself in the world. And I didn't want that anymore. So these people, when I thought back upon them, I now sent them tons. I flooded them with love, right? I now wanted them to succeed. I wanted them to have all their dreams come true. I wanted them to be as happy as they possibly could be, right? And I focused on that, the feeling that you have when that bit of pleasure and bliss could be from the most mundane thing, like a simple piece of candy, all the way to the love of your life holding you in their arms. Doesn't matter. But find that, source that, send it back, give them the goodwill. Give them the goodwill that they didn't show you, right? And you will be surprised. If you feel this in your core, it starts to rewrite the story. And the way you remember things after that, if you can hold that love and send it back there, you're literally becoming your own guardian angel. You're becoming your own guardian angel. You're protecting yourself. You're showing up for yourself. You're empowering yourself. And you're sending the power of who you are now back to the person that needed it. Back to the person that needed it the most. It was probably asking for somebody to be in their corner. Well, guess what? Now you get to be that person. You get to be that person in your corner. You get to do it right now. You get to do it for any time you felt like you weren't enough. Anytime you felt like you needed a little bit more, you can be that person for yourself. You can be the own hero to your story. You send it back there. And there's gonna be times when maybe you let yourself down. Well, guess what? You're gonna send love back then too. Unconditional. Somebody let you down? Unconditional love. Your parents? Unconditional love. A friend? Unconditional love. A lover that has scorned you? Unconditional love. Throw and send it back there. Flood it with love. It will wash away. It will wash away the dirt, the grime, the misery, the pain. And what you'll be left with is freedom. You'll be left with freedom. And here are the telltale signs that you're doing it correctly. The telltale signs that you're doing it correctly is when you remember these memories going forward after these exercises. You might have to do them a few times. The way you remember will be different entirely. You'll remember people and you'll start to be like, you know what, there was some good times. And there'll be space for the good times to rise. There'll be space for the good memories, because right now they're all blocked. anything good that ever happened between that moment and in that period of time, it's only negative, because the negative is just so jarring. So you will start to notice the good times that were there. Secondly, you will start to take action differently. You will move differently in the world. For me, the way that I started moving differently is there's plenty of people that I needed to bear the hatchet with, right? And so what I did was, after practicing this, I ended up calling them up. People that, effectively, it was probably the relationship, the friendships, being what they were, nothing more to expect other than I wanted to reach out and let them know that there's no ill will whatsoever. And I wanted them to be successful and happy and have their dreams come true, and just share a few good words with them. I did that, and that was the action that kind of rooted this practice into reality. So the second thing, you'll start to take action that roots your success into reality. And third, man, you will have way more love in your heart to give forth. Instead of potentially responding to things negatively, it'll be so much easier when negative moments happen to respond to them in kindness, with love and compassion, okay? Those are 3 huge instrumental signs that you're on the path, that you're doing the practice, that it is happening. And you don't need the other people either, like for the second example, when you're taking action, to say anything. If they reach out to you again and you have a conversation, you don't need them to have that same perspective. But you are giving it out, because you are abundance, you are light filled and love filled. And there's no problems with you giving now. And you're giving copious amounts of light and love. And it does heal. And don't wait to be healed. Do not wait for anyone else. Do not do anything else. Just literally spend 5 minutes doing this every now and again for a couple of weeks, and go through all the memories, the whole memory vault, clear it out, and just feel how light you can become. You'll be floating on air by the time you're done. So please do this practice, because it will help heal generational wounds. It'll help make your life so much smoother, and it'll help make you capable of focusing on success that much easier. And if you found out that this exercise has helped you, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, share this video. Other people need to hear this. They need to come out of the pain, so we can all meet in the middle with where the kindness, the love, and the light is, okay? We are all sharing consciousness together, so it's up to us to make it better, okay? One step at a time. I can't wait to talk to you all again. I'll see you very soon. Have a good one. Bye.